Stephen gone into Bond villain mode now with the cat. Some people might describe you as slightly introvert in public. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I suppose so. Yes, I was always quite shy, and of course, racecourse bookmaker isn't really a profession for shy people. But I just had to overcome that.
You soon saw the potential in getting your photograph in the Sporting Life and the Racing Post and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dry humour in your book.
Mm.
Would you sort of say that the real Stephen Little is reserved for when you come home and shut the doors?
Well, possibly, yes. Someone compared me to the Incredible Hulk once because they thought I was normally quite quiet and reserved, and then sort of came to life on the racecourse. Yeah.
We're talking about people coming to life on the racecourse. These guys will be dead now, but I won't mention the names. So I want people to go out and buy the book. But you mentioned you were disappointed when you read one of Graham Sharp's books about a bookmaker that was basically a crook, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
But you said that you didn't get involved with that sort of thing, but hinted that you could have.
Well, I had a couple of approaches, but I sort of said, say Satan, get thee behind me. I just wasn't interested.
And there was another prominent bookmaker that you obviously didn't get on, did you?
No.
Can you tell us a bit about what happened there?
Well, the story's in the book, but I don't mind naming him, Cyril Stein, who John Banks used to call adorable Cyril. Don't think he meant it. No, he had a couple of bets with me and sent him an account and no reply. Another account, still no reply, and went up to him at Epsom on Derby Day or Oaks Day and said to him, well, I've sent you 2 accounts, Cyril. I hope I don't have to send another. And he took umbrage at that and scraped the money of it, which I think was about 600 or something like that, and came over and over to my pitch and virtually threw the money at me and said, oh, you little spiv. So after that, always took delight in saying, either in saying he couldn't have a credit bet, or when he came near the joint, I'd call out cash taken.
Now, I don't want to push you on it because obviously you don't want to talk about it too much, but intrigued in the skullduggery thing, what sort of people would be trying to do a deal with you? Would it be jockeys, trainers, owners? Was it a rife sort of thing, or was it just a rare occurrence?
No, it was a rare occurrence. I don't really want to name names. So.
No. So it would have been worth a lot of money, potentially could have been worth a lot of money to you to be involved with stuff like that.
Probably could have made a lot more money if I had gone that way, but I didn't want it on my conscience, really.
Okay, now in the book you say you bought a Bentley because you were doing a lot of miles.
Yeah.
Your Musquash coat was code, so you needed that one for being on the rails.
Yeah.
You bought this magnificent house that we were in Bath because the other one you were looking at had a magnolia tree in the garden, so you thought that might be problematic.
Yeah.
Obviously, all those things, that's why you bought them, but you could have easily downgraded slightly on all of them. So do you secretly, or not even secretly, do you subconsciously or not like the trappings of wealth or success, I should say?
Not particularly. I know Bentley was a nice car to drive and travel in. I don't particularly like driving, and I didn't always drive it myself. But it probably, yes, I think, when you're a booker, you need to look as if you've got money, whether you have or not. But the coat, I mean, I had 2 Musquash coats in my time, and they were both second-hand, so they weren't all that expensive. And people think of fur coats as very expensive, thousands of pounds. But That wasn't the case with mine. They might have done originally when their first owners bought them, but yeah. As for the house, it was never a particular ambition to live in a house of this type. But oh, he's a bit nervous. But no, I very much like living here, and it's a nice house.
Now you foresaw the problems heading the betting ring's way.
Yeah.
Got out.
Yeah.
Before a lot of people realised.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a point where you regretted that decision?
No, never. No. So I mean, it's remarkable how much the industry, well, the not quite the industry, but the business declined in the first few years of the change in administration. Far more than I thought it would. And something I didn't foresee was the change in off-course tax. Whereas, before, people had to, serious punters had to come to the races to avoid tax and shop around. Yeah, because there were 9 or 10% deductions off course. But that changed in around 2003, I think, when off course tax became based on profits rather than turnover. So that was quite a large incentive to come racing removed. And I didn't think that made a big difference as well. And I can't claim to have foreseen that.
Okay, now from a personal point of view, you're betting on course for 30 odd years.
Yeah.
You're at the height of, well, you are the biggest independent bookmaker on the track.
Mm.
You're taking bets which would buy or sell a row of houses.
Yeah.
On some occasions.
Yeah.
You've got the excitement of the short heads bobbing, all that. How do you go from a daily diet of that to just turning it all in?
Well, over the course of 1998, when they were, it became apparent that there were going to be big changes. I gradually realised that I'm just not going to enjoy it anymore. And there are going to be so many petty rules, and rules which didn't make sense. And I sent any number of letters to the people making the rules, saying what idiots they were. A lot of the rules that I particularly objected to as being unnecessary and fiddly and annoying, disappeared within a few years because they realised I was right. Can't say I was right about everything, but I just think I was worried that the people that were making the rules not only didn't know what they were doing, they didn't know that they didn't know what they were doing. And I was very frustrated about it. And the main thing was that they were going to let too many bookies in, not just too many bookies, but too many amateur bookies. And I think in any business, it's very hard to compete with people who either don't need to know how to make a profit or don't know how to make a profit.
Okay, but I just want to go back to that question. I mean, you've got all that excitement around you. You've had that. You've been going to the race. You do battle with Barney, Curly, and Pablo, and then all of a sudden you've sold them, and you're sat here. Don't you sort of think, what am I going to do to get that? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I joined Coles because I thought I was not exactly going to carry on as before, but still have involvement and excitement, and didn't quite realise how it was going to turn out.
Was that really a surprise to you in hindsight that a self-made man like yourself didn't pan out working for somebody?
Well, maybe not, I suppose, no.
Now, in the book, you can barely contain your exasperation at some of the bookmakers at the time who you were trying to negotiate to save their careers.
Yeah.
Do you think the betting ring could have fared better than it has had you had a bigger say and they at least cooperated or listened even?
Yes, I do, because eventually the RCA they were equally as exasperated, and they just, instead of us reaching a negotiated settlement to the talks which had gone on for several years, they just imposed their solution. And it was always absolutely clear to me that boards on the rails was going to come, and the question of whether it would come fairly or not. And I tried to, think of schemes where it would be fair to not just the boards bookies but the rails bookies as well. So many of the bookies association, or the representatives of the bookies associations, were adamant, no boards on the rails under any circumstances, and the RCA just lost patience. And if the bookies had been more sensible, there would have been a much fairer way for that to come about.